And we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Hey, everyone on my screen.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're really excited because we're going to have a lot of fun tonight and let go of the old, bring in the new, so we can make 2024 a really, really good year, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's start out because we got a lot going on. Let's start out. Can everyone see the chat? By the way, you can see the chat on
Yes.
the end of your screen. Okay.
Nope, I can't.
All right.
Let me turn it on here.
Yeah.
And what did I just do?
Okay.
I see a lot of Happy New Year, so Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Those in the audience, thank you.
Give me 1 second. I apologize for my fingers here, but the screen is now stuck.
So what we're going to do, I'll tell everyone who's here our format. We're going to start out. I'm going to play Auld Lang Syne just to because I have to hear that every year, and I haven't really heard it this year. So that's for all of us. And then we will go around the room and introduce ourselves. Okay. And unfortunately, we're missing one of our group here. She couldn't make it. But hey, you've got the best psychics in the universe here. So we're good. So, and then after that, we'll start with our burning bowl ceremony. So you people here, you might want to write down, if you want to take part in the burning bowl ceremony, you might want to write down what you want to release. For that no longer serves, what no longer serves. And then we'll do a little ceremony where you can burn it in a fireproof bowl, of course, or tear it up and let it go. And then we will do a little meditation to write down what you want to manifest for the next year and moving forward. And we'll do a little meditation. Paulina will lead us in a little meditation to bring in what you want to manifest. Okay. And then we'll move into forecasting, moving forward, how all of us see the next year, how it's might look for where we are. By the way, we're all over the world here. Ashvin and I are in the States, in the Great Northwest. Leanda is in Canada. Seph is in Brazil, and Paulina is in Australia. So isn't that cool? That's really cool. So then we'll do forecasting. We'll go around the room and just see what our insights are. We'll bring that out, and then we'll do our audience readings at the end. So keep in mind, if you want to ask anything of our panel here, and we will make lots of time to do that at the end of our event here. Okay. All righty. Who wants to hear Auld Lang Syne by Home Free? Okay. I'm going to share that now.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne? For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness kindness yet for old lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty friend, that gives a hand to thine. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne. We'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne?
That was wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Gave me chills.
Just beautiful.
Okay, let's introduce ourselves. I will go first. So those that don't know me, my name is Sharon Sananda Kumara, and I am a psychic medium, also hypnotherapist, and I have an academy where I and others teach metaphysical courses in the Great Northwest, but I also work around the globe and with the higher beings, of course. And I'm just really, really happy to be here and to have such amazing people with me and such amazing friends. And this is a wonderful time to be alive. Yeah. Okay, so let's let's go. I'll go around the screen. Leanda, would you go next, please, my dear?
Well, I'm Leanda Ray, and I am a medium and a psychic, and also a counselor and a coach, and all the spiritual aspects of those. And I'm based just a bit south of Vancouver, BC. And I teach workshops and mentor people. And I have a book. Have a book out called The Love of the Spirit, which has been out for a few years. And tonight's pretty exciting for me, not only because we're starting off 2024 with this event, but this officially is my second time on YouTube. So I'm still a newbie, and it's pretty exciting to do this. And yeah, we've got I think an interesting year, depending on how you look at it. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Leanda. Seph, do you mind going next, please?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. My name is Seph Dietlen. I'm an angel channel and a hypnotherapist. I'm a conscious content creator. So I was an actor and filmmaker. So I'm taking those skills and using them to create expansion through what we call the Ascension here, or we can call the Ascension to the New Earth. My work centers around creating awareness around New Earth and bringing that in through the expansion of consciousness. And I'm also the author of the Ascension with the Angels Tarot deck, which is an angel tarot deck. And this is an exciting time to be alive. And I'm here to serve today because this is a monumentous year. And I'm not just saying that. This one is a huge one. We're going to see a lot this year. And I'm here for whoever gets to watch this because we're starting this off with something expansive, and this is the way to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Seph. Definitely a big year coming up. Paulina, would you go next, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Welcome and Happy New Year. I'm Paulina Harfield, the Earth Whisperer. One of the many things that I have been focusing on in my life is consciousness and the ascension, rather, like Seth was saying, and also Leander was saying. about the consciousness and the effects on our human behaviors and our concept to be fully enlightened beings, whether in this life or others. And I have a website, theearthwhisperer.com. You can find lots of information there, including products that I sell and work that I do. And I'm very delighted to be part of what's happening here today, because we're coming together, each of us as speakers here, but each of you at home or wherever you are, we're coming together to co-create this beautiful reality that we're moving into. And I'm just looking forward to what happens today and how we evolve together in this moment together.
Nice. Thank you, Paulina. Ashvin.
Yeah, hi. I was hoping to go first so it wouldn't build up and I wouldn't be nervous. You picked me last. I'm Ashwin. You can call me Ash if it's easier. I'm an empath. I'm intuitive. I'm a light worker, energy worker, and starseed. Um, the work that I do is mostly holding space for others. It comes naturally to me within my professional realm. I really call it that holding space, though. I present it in different ways. For example, I say, let's sit down, let's talk for and transform. So we can have a conversation and we can find out insights for you and do energy work. I was born in India, raised in India, and been in the US now for a long time. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Um, yeah, and I really do enjoy connecting with people over these topics and in this manner, because I do believe this is the way I can be of service in the highest way possible.
Nice. Thank you, Ashvin. Your microphone is getting muted or getting muffled a little bit. Is that just me or okay? Is there something in the
Is
way
it?
of it? It's not now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was holding this up for a moment.
Oh, okay. All right. So you sound really good now. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. So thank you for being here, Ashvin. Does anyone need time to write something down to release? We're going to do our burning bowl ceremony now, I believe. Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. I don't see anyone. Yes. All right. So let's do okay, Heather says yes, I believe. Anybody, how about anybody on screen? Do you need time or have you already done it?
No.
You're good? Everyone's
Good
good?
to go. Good to
Good to
go.
go. Okay. I am good to go too. People in the audience can this is never done by Heather. Okay, so what we're going to do is just write what you want to release, anything that no longer serves, on a piece of paper. I used to do this in person. Some people in the audience know that I have come to my burning bowl. Can I play singing bowls every year? I did it for like 6 or 7 years before I started doing things online. But it's very, very healing, and it feels really good. Okay.
Heather's got a question.
Okay. So you have a list. Okay. You have a list. All right, good. She has a list. Heather, no, you're not on video. You're just not just, but you are watching us on YouTube and Facebook, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yeah. On video is our panel of readers. Okay. But thank you for that question. Okay. All right. So, I'm assuming everyone has their list. Let's do the ceremony. And what I like to do is when I light it, I like to say to the universe, I release everything I've written on this paper with love, for it no longer serves me, and anything else that needs to be released to the universe. Okay. Of course, everyone's welcome to say whatever prayer they'd like to say. Okay. So let's take a minute to do that. Right. I release whatever I wrote on this paper to the universe, for it no longer serves me. I release with love. You also might want to open a window. And I would make sure it's all gone. Not able to burn. You can go ahead and tear it up, Heather, if you want. Whatever you can do to release it, tear it up, that kind of thing. Done. Sue's done. Okay. Susanna, note. Yes, I see you in the chat. Okay.
Hmm.
That feels
Oh
good.
my. Something must be happening.
You feel it?
I felt really good. Yeah, my arms have started to vibrate. Weird. Very subtle vibration in my arms. That's a good one. That was
Nice.
a good one.
Yeah, I feel emotion with it. Whew.
Yeah, it feels like a release.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for mine to stop to go out. Still burning a little. Okay. All right. Now it's time to bring in what we would like to manifest. I would suggest writing it, if you haven't already, on a piece of paper, and perhaps keeping it with you, carrying it around with you after we do the meditation to bring in the energies and send our order out to the universe. Put in our order. And so I would suggest carrying it around with you, or putting it somewhere where you can see it on a regular basis. That way you keep it in the forefront of your consciousness. And what I've learned with doing this is that, year after year, is that it helps send more energy into what you're asking for, to co-create. Right? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Would anyone else like to add to that?
Well, Alana asks, what are we carrying? And it's whatever you're writing down to create, to co-create,
Yeah. Yeah.
Alana.
Thank you, Steph. Are we ready for the meditation?
Yes.
Is everyone here ready? Okay.
Yes.
Yep, already.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
so as we fully enter into 2024, wherever you are, just placing your feet onto the ground or the floor, wherever you are, and reaching down into our glorious Mother Earth. This journey is part of the ascension of the earth and part of our own ascension. So reaching down into glorious Mother and bringing up her energy through those roots into your feet, up into your knees, up into your hips, up into your waist and internal organs, and into that glorious heart of who you are, that unconditional aspect of you that is always present, always abundant, always knows exactly what you need to bring in and manifest in your life, to connect with soul, connect with the earth, connect with cosmos, and enable you to be the best version of the essence of you that is pulsing at every beat of your heart. Just feeling that heartbeat for a few seconds. And letting that energy move up towards your throat chakra, the essence of how you communicate that beautiful essence of you into the world at large, into the cosmos, and the guidance that you receive through your higher chakras, but the wisdom that you always hold in your heart and your truth of what's happening on the planet, what's happening for you, and what's happening in the days, weeks, and months ahead. As you move into manifesting your truth, your way of being, allowing yourself to listen to the whispers, allowing yourself to hold the space for those around you and for yourself as well, for the earth herself, and to bring forth the kindness of spirit and soul that is within you in this year as we move into the manifestation of all that is on a deeper, higher level. You are it, and it is you. Manifesting with your guides, with your angelic helpers, with the cosmic masters, with the earth, with the animals, with the oceans, with the four seasons. And allowing that energy that you sent out into the cosmos, up through your higher chakras, to now come back and reside in your heart. Taking some breaths and feeling what it's like to be a heart that is fully connected to the cosmos and the invisible realms that are becoming more and more visible, and the energy of this beautiful planet that we've chosen to incarnate on at this time as she ascends and we go with her. And all sounds that you hear are just part of that journey of what we do in our life as we grow and we change. All thoughts are part of that process too. So through this year ahead, allowing all thoughts, all concerns, all beliefs, all pains and aches in your body, everything that are all wisdom of how things are changing and manifesting, letting them move through you as you move through the next 365 days on this planet, 2024. And see that pinhole of light that is just growing and growing as we enter fully into 2024. The calendar that's really not a calendar. Time is really not a thing that we need to pay attention to. They're all constructs that we're moving away from, but we still know 2024 is here. So allowing yourself now to come fully back, join us back on YouTube or Facebook or whichever social media you're using to see this. And then take a deep breath and shake it all off, because we're not attached to what we're going to manifest. It just is. Just is.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Paulina.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I felt that. Okay. I wanted to stay there. All right. Any questions about that? Is everyone good to move forward?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have a fire going. Can I use that? Of course. Yes, of course. However you want to burn it. Let it go. Let it go. A fire is perfect. All right. So next is our forecasting, I believe. Yes. Who would like to go first? I've got 4 pages of stuff that I had a conversation with my guide, and I'm like, he just kept on going and going. I'm like, okay. I really room.
Can you speed talk like 4 pages?
I write kind of big.
It'll be interesting to see what we all got in common.
Yeah.
Always that. Yeah.
Sure, there'll be quite a bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind saying a couple of things about maybe Chinese astrology that'll also kind of help frame up maybe a lot of what may come up. So we're moving into the year of the wooden dragon. And so the Chinese astrology has the different beings, not necessarily all animals, but for the sake of this conversation, it's got the animals and it's got the elements. And so, for example, 2020 was year of the rat. It was a metallic rat. So 2020, no stone left unturned, right? I mean, it was metallic. It was like brutal, unforgiving. It was a year of inner search, being locked up, and so much of introspection. This is going to be dragon year. It's going to be wood, and wood is, can be used to make anything. Wood could be a wonderful chair for you to sit on. It could be a table for you to work on. It could be a workspace. It could be anything. It could be a place where people gather. And it's mutable. And the dragon energy is one that's going to carry us through 2024, most of 2024. And I'm just going to ask people, if you've ever rode a dragon, if you haven't, you're about to ride one in 2024. It's going to be an interesting ride. So I just want to mention a couple of things that are also in a framework of Chinese astrology about what's coming up.
Oh, that is so amazing, because I was guided. I just put a dragon oracle card reading on my YouTube channel today, and I didn't even know that the dragon was the year of the dragon, but I was getting inspiration to buy a dragon oracle deck and start working more with the dragons. And here you go. Okay.
There's that energy already.
They're here. They're already here. Yeah, totally. Nice. Thanks, Ashwin. The year of the dragon. And when does the Chinese New Year start again?
I'd have to look it up online, but it's around the 20th or 22nd of February, if I remember correctly.
Okay. But they're already here. They're already coming in.
Right. It's not a hard start and stop. It's a blend. It's
they've been coming in for a while now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to go?
I'll go.
Okay. Seph.
I think, and this is a good introductory as well. One of the biggest themes that the angels are talking about for this year is about the separation. And so they've made reference to what they call our outer sphere. And our outer sphere is the unconscious collective. and understanding that the conscious collective is separating from the unconscious collective. The conscious collective is moving into ascension with Earth, and the unconscious collective is in dissolve. And why that's important for us to take that in, because when we're watching what's going on around us, those who are conscious are immune from where that ship is sailing. So you're going to hear conversations about things like the collapse of the financial system and collapse of these structures and things like that. You're going to hear a lot about that. But the conscious collective is going to be manifesting, moving into their calling, creating, and we're going to be in abundance on every level. We're also going to be seeing unthinkable miracles. The way the angels explain what we do each time we take a quantum leap is that we literally reboot reality. And as a result of rebooting reality, we're going to start also to see some lack of continuity that lets us know. Think of like the mandala effect is going to be like being in kindergarten and playing with Play-Doh. We're going to start to see things as we reboot reality to make our journey up. We're going to start to see things where the continuity isn't going to be part of the reboots, because up until now we've been making these timeline shifts. But you walk outside, your St. Francis statue is still there, your car's parked in the same place, and all that kind of stuff. You're going to start to see things that are out of place that literally let you know that you're in an entirely different reality. So this is part of that separation that's been talked about for a long time. And one of the ways that we are that indicate that we're already there is because we already don't feel like we're part of that world. Many of us don't watch television anymore. Many of us don't do any of the things that we used to do. Take that as proof that you're already separating with Earth into ascension. And whenever you hear some doom and gloom scenario that is coming in the unconscious collective or the outer sphere, don't associate your personal reality as being part or connected to that. That's one of the big things that we're going to start to see this year dramatically.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, first I want to ask you, Seth, how did you know I have a St. Francis statue in my yard?
It's all synchronicity. When I talk to them, I just hear what I'm supposed to hear, what I'm supposed to use as examples. And generally speaking, it always speaks to one person particularly, and there's always synchronicity and magic to it.
Yeah, I'm joking. But yeah,
Oh, do you?
I
Yeah.
do. I do. We do.
Well,
Yes.
I actually had a really cool example of this because I pay my bills meticulously every month. And one morning I woke up and I got a notification from my car insurance that said they were going to cancel me if I didn't pay. And I thought, well, that's really weird. I paid it, I checked it off, and all that kind of good stuff. I went back and I looked at the credit card statement, wasn't there, or the where I usually put put it on. It's like an automatic charge, and it wasn't there. But it wasn't because I didn't pay it, because when I paid it, I got to skip the next month. So for whatever reason, I got a free month of car insurance, if that makes sense. But the minute that I saw that happened, I knew it was a timeline shift. And of course, a lot of
Mm.
other things shifted as well. So we're going to start to see a lot of lack of continuity. And just to explain continuity, when I worked as an actor, let's say we run the scene several times, maybe my tie is up, then my tie is a little down. Of course, everything has to be perfect, because when they put the scene together, it would look really weird if I'm talking and my tie goes up and down or whatever. That's continuity. And so these are things when we make timeline shifts, our external reality looks exactly the same. Looks like we're in the same place, but we're not. Now this is going to actually change. And I had a car repair happen from that. I did a timeline shift and my car repaired itself. And it was explained that when we went into the new reality, my car wasn't broken to begin with. And so we're going to start to see these
Nice.
amazing things. Yeah.
I love those timeline shifts. Want more of those.
Yes.
Oh, Leah says the Chinese New Year starts February 10th. Thank you, Leah. You were going to say something, Ashwin?
No, just thank you to Leah for getting us the date.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, angels, for speaking through Seph. Makes so much sense. And it's happening faster and faster, like you say. Totally. Who would like to go next? Oh, Leanna, you must be muted.
Sorry, fat
There you
fingers. I will, because I can tie into everything that everyone has said before, and it's really interesting. And because one of the first bits of information that came through to me when I was, started to either sit with clients or just sit to tune into what's happening or what's coming, the strength and importance that has been placed for me to pay attention to, and for everybody to pay attention to stay connected to the earth, as in stay connected and grounded and attuned. So you're, as if you are just an extension of the planet. Sometimes people don't think that way, right? But it's very strong energy. And it's very, very important in 2024 to have this connection with the earth. I love the fact that it was a wooden dragon. For wood, of course, is everything, as you say, is something I love. I love forests, but it is also an easy item for people to connect themselves to, like a tree or a walk in the woods or the forest. And it is something easy for them to go, okay, yeah, that's how I can connect, in that sense. So, and the dragon, as far as the dragon energy for the year, I definitely saw that as well. Actually, I didn't have it come in as a dragon when it initially came into me. It actually came into me as a multicolored, kind of looking Appaloosa, maybe horse bucking. So it's like, I like the dragon though, because we do have the chaos. There's no denying there will be somewhere chaos and conflict, which is why it is going to be very important that everyone stay in their bodies and stay grounded. It is important. And it is important to have integrity with where you put your energy. It sounds like a big, hard thing to do, but it really isn't. And we are going to have adventure where I feel we are going to be pushed to the edge of not only some limits, but also there's going to be challenges. And I'll get to the kind of the month, the time frame area where you got to sometimes look at it as an adventure. Sometimes being pushed to change something or pushed to do something or pushed to end something doesn't always mean it's bad. It just means we need you to shift. So there's actual emphasis on people being shifted. For March, it's interesting that the Chinese New Year starts in February, because in March, for the people that I've been speaking to so far in my own meditations, March seems to be coming to me as a very strong month of energy, very, very strong. So I think things are going to begin, big, strong things will begin in March. And again, depending on how you keep yourself, grounded or level, it'll either throw you off your feet, or you'll be able to go, okay, I see that. And that brings me to the whole business about the conscious and the unconscious separating, because making that, being an observer and staying and working and living as a conscious being, you're able to not get swept away. So they all definitely tie together. And I just want to add a little bit about I liked the bit how you talked about the reboot. One of the things that started happening to me last year was a couple of times I saw the grid. I've seen lots of things in my life, but I saw the grid and I was quite amazed. But since that time, and especially later on this year, probably the past since September, what I have been seeing myself is the little movements of things. Whereas it's hard to describe when you have that, when you have an experience like that. For example, you come out and the door is here, but then you come out and the door is 3 inches further to the left. It's kind of the best way to describe it when Seth talked about that. That things will be moved. So everything that you guys have talked about, I definitely see. One of the good parts about the year, I think, is there will be absolutely a balance. There will be some justice brought in. I don't know if everybody will be happy about it, but justice will bring her hand in and make whatever I think it might be beginning of June-ish. What I've picked up coming in there about that time is some sort of, it could be any subject, I know, but when we look at it like this, I'm looking at it as my region or my hemisphere or something. But justice will bring her hand in, and there will be a leveling of the playing field. So kind of so far to date, that's kind of where I've had a look at 2024. And I find it interesting with my guides in a way. It's like, we're going to let you see the timeline until August, and then we'll show you the rest later. So far, my channelings have only been, it's true, they're very good that way with me. It's like, okay, we'll let you see the timeline up to August, and then you have to wait for the rest. So I have to wait for the rest of the year to come through. And I think that information from everything that I've been getting about March, I think once March is passed, I think there'll be a whole other load of information for the end of the year coming in. I'd be really interested to see how that happens with everyone else as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Leanda. Leanda Ray. Hi. Do you go by Leanda or Leanda Ray? I've always called you Leanda.
Yeah, I go by Leanda.
Leanda? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Not past August, huh?
Well, it's the timeline they're showing me and my team, my guides are good that way, because they know I'll be like, don't tell her that. Don't show her past August, because then she'll get wrapped up in it. But I'm not, I know. As I say, when you work with your guides for so many years, you trust them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Awesome. Paulina, would you like to go?
Sure. Things that I will say echo what the others have said as well, and I love that, because that's that interconnectedness, and that we're all picking up different threads and placing them together as we go. I wanted to first of all talk about the dragon. Ash mentioned the dragon, and so did Leander. And the thing about dragons in earth energy work is that if you look at all the mythologies and the archetypal energies throughout history, there's the predominantly male, although there were females, but they weren't talked about. There were males who went around slaying dragons. And that was part of the shift of consciousness for them, the understanding their own dragons within. In the last 10 or so years, more and more dragons have become more and more a part of people's reality. And many people see them in ways that they didn't before. And when you're an earth energy worker in the way that I work, and maybe other people do, part of the process is to really understand the dragon within and the energies that we manifest, and how we can hold our dragon, or as you would say if you were riding a horse, hold your saddle in all chaotic things that happen. It's like how well you ride your steed, what you do in that moment. And so the fact that it's a dragon year, I think, is really symbolic as well of what Seph and Leander have said, that we're being encouraged, required to stay in our center, to be in our truth, and to know what that truth is, and to be clear what's other people, so the collective consciousness, and what's ourselves, our individual consciousness. And the separation of that has been going on for some time, but we're now in that kind of capacity of rise up, be the light that you are, be who you have been encouraging yourself to be, and sit in your saddle, hold your energy in all situations, and know that what is happening in the outside world, or what you perceive as the outside world, is only the truth of a perceptive field. It is not a truth of an inner reality that we all hold. In relation to March and June, I also think it's interesting because within the earth energies herself, and part of this process is really understanding the earth as a consciousness and a soul being, that we are part of her journey, she is part of ours. March is the equinox, June is the solstice, October is the next equinox, or September, October is the next equinox, and then we have December solstice. When every year at these times, things happen, events take place. In the lead up to the equinox or the solstice, we always have a full moon or something powerful happening in the moon. We have light frequencies coming in from the sun. We're all really connected to the sun and always have been. We come through the sun for this incarnation. And so we're greatly affected by sun, and sun is a great transformer. Many days now, there's discussions about the sun being, there's blots from the sun, or there's all sorts of things happening from the sun. And it's kind of treated like we need to be really careful from what is happening from the sun. But the sun is actually working with us to help us to change our frequencies, to help us to understand. So we've got all these cosmic planetary bits, but also cosmic beings assisting us. So this year, they're really going to be manifesting not just in our heart and in our intuition, but you may see them in ways you've never seen them before, in that sort of the changing realities of the veils and things appearing, the different realities that we're experiencing. I myself for years have been, there was a walk I did every day, and every day there was something different. The rocks were bigger, the trees were smaller, the ocean was, I know the ocean changes every day, but this was like in a phenomenal way. And so we are faced with these every moment, and it's not that we're faced with them, it's that we can integrate this understanding that we are in our different realities. When I spoke to the beings that I speak with, they gave a few insights. So they talked about, as a species, humanity really likes to dot the I's and cross the T's. And we can see how we've done that in the last few years in order to really make sense of some of the things that have gone on in the world. And the truth of what is going on, however, is happening really beyond many of our realities and conscious capabilities. It's a bigger picture. It's a bigger thing that's been going on for eons of time. So sometimes when we want to dot an I and cross a T, we're getting stuck in the minutiae of the situation. So these are some specifics that we can do as individuals to assist our own journey, but also assist in the consciousness and the connection with the earth, and to show and share the light in all moments. So focus on the light. Be the light that you are. Examine what this statement means for you, and show and share that light in all moments. Be aware that what is being revealed on the planet is to enable deep and profound cleansing. It is not being revealed to cause pain, anger, and frustration, or sadness, or hurt. And in the last number of years, there's been a big surge of people being angry, frustrated, in pain, heartbroken. Those things are part of the paradigm that we're moving out of, because we're healing into deeper levels that we can't really even imagine. Our mind can imagine them, our heart can imagine them, and our soul knows them. But we're still really only taking baby steps around that. So these reveals, if you like, for the purposes of enlightening and continuing to reveal the shadow. And this shadow is really what humanity has been perpetrating upon itself since the beginning of time. And we can say it's this person or this thing or that thing. All of that, though, is again how humanity makes sense of things that we don't necessarily understand or we want to blame things or people for. So the plan is unfolding and the light is shining in these areas to expose all that. Then the awakening occurs. And it's not the knowledge of these occurrences, that's not the awakening. The awakening takes place via our releasing of patterns, via our surrender to the truth and the reconnection with the love foundation. And if this is too hard for anyone or each of us, at different times we can experience that from day to day. We might still be attached to that pattern of something or victimhood or pain or frustration, whatever it is. Then these are the clues that we, our perceived sense of selves and the patterns that we are still healing and that we can continue to let them go. Drop into the heart, another thing, drop into the heart on all and any occasions. If you're frustrated with something, if you're hurt by something, if you're uncertain about something, drop into the heart, because whenever you drop into the heart, your capacity to breathe in unison with your blood flow increases. You discover this truth and all perceived boundaries will be surrendered and released. So whenever your heart aches, whenever your head is filled with thoughts, or your anxiety rises or depression takes you downwards, take some breaths, put your roots into the earth and just drop into the heart, because there is no thing and nothing that can take you away and separate you from the truth of who you are. Make choices to remember and reconnect in all moments. Part of this journey of being light-filled is remembering, and it's remembering who we are, it's remembering who we're not, but it's also reconnecting. So remembering, putting those things back together and reconnecting. And each time you do that, the actions and memories of your soul will become clearer. And don't be afraid of the shadow. I've said this before in other readings. Don't be afraid of the shadow and don't run or hide from it. Enlightenment, think of the word light in that, enlightenment, involves exploring and releasing the shadow of that which is unknown, unremembered, and unexperienced. Your conscious self and the unconscious self and others may have tears, emotions, thoughts, and aspects to be revealed for cleansing. Let that happen. Sit on your saddle of your dragon or your horse while you do that, and know that is you releasing. That is not the collective consciousness responding around you. Another important thing, let your knowing develop. Many people are following another person's truth and it may resonate for them, or they may, often in my work, I have people who will say to me, I knew when I met that person, there was something not right with them, and they've been married to them for 10 years and they've got 2 children. And it's kind of like that knowing is time to really develop. That helps with discernment. That helps with understanding, again, what's happening in the collective is what's happening in the separation of the collective. It's not your reality. And let that knowing develop. And because the old way was to have other people, in a way, telling you how it was. And now it's for you to find your path, your journey, your truth. And your knowing develops, and your capacity to follow your heart, be at peace in the world, becomes a fulfilled prophecy. So be on the earth in beauteous connection as much as you can. And if you're in contact regularly with your guides, if you're in contact with cosmic beings and masters and angelic resonances and the earth herself, all of them have been working for millennia and certainly for decades to encourage us to understand who we really are, and that what we are is shiny beacons, and that we in a way, we don't have to do anything except remember that. and just be in that moment with the things that happen. Anything that unsettles you, take a breath. And remember, although you are not your body can be a great conjunct to this journey. We came in as a body for a reason, to learn how to be at one with being a body. And this year is that opportunity. The earth templates were placed on our planet. They've been there since the beginning of the earth came into foundation and creation. And those frequencies from those different grids, and there are many on the planet. There's grids that have a consciousness for different countries. There's grids that have a consciousness for different animals, for different species, for the different elements. There's many different grids and consciousness templates that are part of our planet. And the grid that is to take our planet into the ascension process was really put into place quite solidly in 2010, 2012. Many of us have been working on that for a long time, including the beings in the other realms. And that template is solid. Well, how can you say it's solid when it's light? But it's solidly in place. And so we're going whether we think we're not going or not. And the illusion around us is the opportunity to recognize it really is illusion. It is not the truth of who we are. And what is being revealed is the glory of us understanding how we as a species have perpetrated this time in and time out, and now is the time. Now is the time. That's why we incarnated. And woohoo, 2024, another one.
Thank you, Paulina. Wow, that's a lot of information.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sorry.
Thank you. No, no,
A
no,
lot.
no, don't apologize. That's awesome. Okay, I don't have anything to say. That you covered everything I have on here. Everyone did. No, I'm kidding. I have a I'll just confirm everything, or not confirm, but reiterate. Let's see here. I got the same thing about the old system. Is he used the word being sacked? It's as we speak, it is falling. It has been falling, and the matrix, whatever we want to call it, the old ways will not be tolerated any longer with all the light that's coming in, and all the. Ooh, I get emotional thinking about this. All the beings that have volunteered to come onto the planet and help with this, so that we would make sure that this timeline was moving into a good space. Tons and tons of people who have come, galactic beings or future selves that have come onto the planet, and so there's just no way around it. It's happening thanks to everyone here. Right? And so that was what he wanted to make sure and let everyone know, to pat ourselves on the back. Everyone, give yourselves a pat on the back that's watching, because there's a lot that we have done to help shift and are doing. Okay. We are the Dolores Cannons. I think we're the fifth wave. Is that what we're in? The fifth wave of or third wave of beings on the planet, which is huge. Okay. The let's see here. Release anything that no longer serves. And I was getting, as everyone was talking, that what we did tonight is really helpful if we do this like during the full moon once a month. Just do some kind of a ceremony as well. They're talking about getting back to basics. We need to get back to basics, like Leanda and Paulina were talking about, connecting to the planet and honoring the 4 seasons, that type of thing, because our energies, our bodies are moving into that space of being more connected to the planet. There's just no way around it. We can't help it. And if we fight it, that's when our bodies become ill, is what they were telling me, what I know. But so we have to be in that space to be able to release our shadows, release as things come up, release. Once a month is a good time to do the same little ceremony that we did earlier during the full moon. The new moon is also a good time to bring things in, to write down what you would like to manifest or bring into your life. That's really good energy there to honor that as well. So getting back to basics, um, let's see here. Mm, the system that we have been, that humanity has been, and they use kind of harsh language with this, the slave system, so to speak, that we've been, you know, uh, tied to for so long, is falling like crazy. And that's why we're seeing so much chaos. And we've talked about this before. But I guess you could call the slave holders no longer have control. And 2024 is moving into that space of a um, a big fight, I guess you could say, a big, like you're going through a detox where things just don't want to leave that that we have in our bodies as we release this the system releases. Okay, so a lot of the system doesn't want to let go, and that's why we're seeing so much chaos. So we have to do our work, of course, on a individual basis, and that radiates out. Uh, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear. Like everyone was saying here, um, it's good to be aware of what's going on. For instance, with the wars and things like that. How can we not be aware of it? But realize that this is part of the shift. It's part of the shift. Unfortunately, I did get there's a lot of people are going to be are leaving the planet, and that's also part of the um, the fall of the system. Um, but everyone does shift. Everyone will be included in the shift. I got that. I've been getting that for a few years here now. Okay. More and more people are waking up and clearing the old program and paradigms out of their bodies and out of their surroundings and their ancestral line and legacy. So, and the more people that do that, the more we shift. Okay. The more the system breaks down. Okay. So that's super, super important. Um, we need to be able to hold light in our bodies, and that's what release is all about, because anxiety comes up when we take on a lot of light, because a lot of light is being bombarded onto the planet. So make sure that we release, that you release as much as possible. Release, release, release is the mantra. That's your new mantra. Release, release, release. Okay, I asked about disclosure. I heard slowly but surely. I heard by 2026 we will be in a much different place with disclosure, especially with suppressed technology that's been suppressed for a long time. I also got that anti-gravity vehicles will be available to the public by 2030. That's what I got. I also got that what we call med beds or holographic healing pods are already available, and just not in the way that we thought they were, but they're already available. Um, we are also building, and you can look this up. There are articles, mainstream articles, that we are building structures on the moon and on Mars for us to go out into space. Okay, we're already going out into space. There is a Jupiter space station that is underway, a huge one. I have memory of going there in my nighttime travels. Um, and we are going to be spacefaring, consciously spacefaring, they tell me. And I totally believe it. I've seen it very soon. Okay. I asked about wars, and I got that the Israeli and Palestine war, unfortunately, will continue during the next year. And what they said was, as long as there's people make profit off of it, and that's what war is all about. Unfortunately, we know that. But I did get that it will not last until the following year. Okay. I got that there will be peace talks. True peace talks is what they said. There will be a lot of upheaval in 2024. It could be some more wars or battles in other countries. Things will heat up in the U.S. as well with the citizenry, they said. Stay focused on your everyday rituals, which includes meditation, bringing calmness to your center, as Paulina said, I believe, and send light out to anything that you feel. Send light out to anything that you feel is triggering you, if that makes sense. Okay, when we feel, oh, I feel this is just so horrible, send light. Okay, send love, send light. Sit in that space of sending, because if we all did that, we wouldn't have so much chaos. If every single person would send light instead of, hatred and anger and all that kind of thing, we'd be in a much different place, right? So that we have to remember to do that, is what he said. Okay, and not get sucked into that energy. Okay. I always said a lot of people will be leaving the planet still, and doesn't mean anything bad about it. It's just that they made that decision. They made that agreement to help with the shift, that would be their role. Okay. All will shift. I got that. The financial world, I got 2024 will continue to be in an inflationary state in most areas. In the U.S., things will start turning around in the next year. What I got globally, governments, many will be resigning. The old guard will be leaving. Is what I got. And I got that more people, I got asked about, or it came through about religions, and I got many will find their need for their connection to their light within, rather than looking outside themselves for some type of fulfillment, no longer relying on outside sources for fulfillment. I also got that it's very, very important to have a regular ritual of connecting to your guidance, connecting to your higher self, the higher part of you, having that clear connection, and keeping your body healthy in order to get through this with as little resistance as possible. And I think that is about it. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Yep,
Any comments?
it's going to be definitely be wild. That's why I asked the question earlier. Are you ready to ride the dragon? Have you ridden the dragon before? It's coming, and we can look at the same thing in different perspectives. One of the way of looking at a year and doing the forecast is saying, what lies ahead, or what am I going to be moving through in the next year. Another perspective that's slightly different is seeing yourself as stationary and seeing things moving your way and moving through you and seeing what's coming up. And the reason I bring that up is to the point that everybody's made here. Um, 2024 is going to offer a lot of opportunities, and it's going to show up in different ways in different people's lives, and people are going to use the energies in different ways, whether it's shadow work, whether it's expanding your consciousness and noticing things you hadn't noticed before, such as shifting timelines, whether it's going deeper and connecting to the earth, or um, doing something else. There are light workers that do the things that we do. There are light workers who are plumbers and dentists. There are also light workers who are right now probably in the war zones, dying so they can bring visibility to the things that need to be changed. So we're all participating in this, and we're participating in this globally. Now, for us, we're going into a year that's going to offer a lot of expansion. Um, it's like going on the roller coaster. You could have a couple of people on the roller coaster. One person is all smiles and ecstatic. The other person passes out. Everybody's going to ride the roller coaster and come out the other end and have their own versions of what happened and what it felt like. The one thing to remember, I think, through all of this, if I was to pick one word for 2024, is that it is going to be an opportunity for all of us. Whether it's expansion through facing your own shadows and transmuting them, or expanding your awareness of things in the world or within yourself, outside of yourself, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for growth in 2024. And just look at it as a wave and yourself as a surfer. Here it comes, position yourself, get ready, and catch a wave and make the best of it.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Ashwin.
Right. That's so true. I agree. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Here comes the wave. Let's ride it. And we have a choice on how we want to ride the wave.
Yeah, because we're in it. We have no choice. We're in it. Go ahead, Seth.
One of the things that that I've heard and realized as well is that we're different people now than when we were bombarded with events a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and we're actually spiritually ready to handle what's coming. So it isn't really about, and I love the word opportunity, especially with this, because it isn't really about what's coming. It's about our preparedness um, to actually be in the highest timeline with whatever's coming. And in that particular way, so much of humanity is ready for what's coming next because they know that this is the way forward. This is the way up. And the less fear or the fearless or the fear that's leaving us, the way that it's been presented to me is that our true design is a completely fearless state. And all of the expansion that we have done through our own personal work and to work with each other and work with, as we teach, we master, as we master, we teach, and then the group does it for us as well, whoever our, students are. And ultimately, that expansion has actually returned us to our original design. So we're calling it, our new human or whatever, but it's our original one before we took this journey here, our original conscious state or our actual true design. And as a result of everything that we've experienced, it's done everything that it can to restore us to a greater state of our true design. And we know this because we are transcending time. Time is a whole different experience for us because we're timeless, multidimensional beings. And as we do this, what's been pointed out to me by the angels that I channel is that we're actually equipped to handle what's coming, as was so eloquently put by our Australian cohort here, which is literally the track is in motion, and even though it's light, it's solid, as in it's immutable, it's happening. But we are actually in this state right now where it's actually a compliment that we get to experience this because we're actually prepared to do with it what we're meant to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. Okay, any other comments on our forecasting before we move into readings? No? All
No.
right. Okay. If anyone has any questions for the readers, go ahead and type it into the chat and we would be very happy. You're welcome, Jamila. I think it's Jamila. We'll be very happy to give you our insights. Let's see if there's any questions here already. Oh, here's from Mary. Hoping to hear from my brother-in-law who recently passed this summer. Okay. If anyone gets, whoever wants to go or has any information, go ahead and go. So this is Mary. Would like to hear from her brother-in-law who recently passed this summer.
For me, this Mary, I want to address it, but I'm kind of sitting with it because what I get as an overriding thing is I'm not quite sure why you feel the want to do that. So there's something in there about. Is it that you don't believe in an afterlife, and is there some question in there for you around that? Is that you're missing him? So what I'd like is if you could give some more information about, rather than hoping to hear from him, perhaps, what it is, what's going on for you around that. That's for me to give you more help on that.
All right. She says my sister has been suffering the loss of her husband. She thinks she didn't do enough. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, because that helps then for me. If anyone else has anything to say, feel free. For me, I pulled a card and it said wisdom, and that's where I needed to then get some more information from you, because in the afterlife, generally, this is a generalization, there, in my experiences, having had a near-death experience and having worked a lot with people who have either been close to death or have died and or have experienced an NDE, uh, upon leaving the body, there is no sense of right or wrong, or it should have been done this way, or it should have been done that way. So what's happening for your sister is completely understandable in the human realm, that there's concerns about did I do it right, and so on. But I get from the other side that there is nothing and that needs to be apologized for or worried about or concerned for. Because in the side of the light, it is all consciousness experiencing itself, and there is no blame, and there is no shame, and there is no sense that something has not been done in the correct way. It was done in the way it was done. And to some degree, one could say it was done in the way that was meant to be done within the frequencies of that time. That may not be what you were hoping for, or.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. Mary, I'm feeling he finally came in. I didn't feel he was here earlier, but I do feel he finally came in. He's here. I do feel him. And I'm feeling that there wasn't anything that your sister could have done. I feel like it was his time, so to speak, what I'm feeling from him, and I feel a lot of emotion with that. There wasn't anything she could have. He's saying that he doesn't want her to. He wants to relieve burdens from her shoulders. I'm feeling that he wants to take the burdens off her shoulder. That no, it was his time, and she did so much for him already. He's saying I'm stuttering because there's a lot of emotion there. She did so much for him already, and he's super grateful. Uh, and he wants to take that off her shoulders because it's not there was nothing she could have done. It was his time. Yeah, that's what I keep getting from him. He just wants to relieve that guilt. Guilt is not good. Yeah, so he wants to relieve that guilt from her, and I let her know that he is still there. And I got the card that I just picked up my deck, and the first card was rebirth. So that's what and I felt that he was showing me this card. After Paulina, you said your cards, I looked down. Oh, let me see. And he said that one, rebirth. He's in a very, very good place. Okay. So she doesn't have to worry about that. And I understand we do grieve here, but it's not doing her any good to feel guilty about anything. Okay. He doesn't want that for her. I hope that makes sense. Anyone else before we move on to the next question? I hope that's helpful, Mary. Okay. Heather.
So we've got Seph, who's the angel guy, so we should let him definitely add his input. But I just want to throw on this, Heather. The first impression I get is that the work for you is to strengthen your own connection with yourself and your higher self and your intuition. This is in a work for you that's due, and that'll be really rewarding. It is about learning how to blend the external and the internal for you. It's not about being in one or the other, because all of this exists simultaneously at all times. All dimensions, all parts of us in different dimensions exist simultaneously. And it's the work for you is to really get into learning how to blend and have this side of the veil and the other side of the veil, kind of thin the veil and bring the two together to work with your higher self and bring those two pieces together for yourself in your life. All right, I'll pause there.
And there's two questions that have to do with angels and spirit guides, and if you don't mind, I'll take those for sure. I actually teach courses on bringing people into alignment. When I say teach, I really mean facilitate, because we create a calibration, and you're the one who actually teaches yourself or heals yourself. But to answer the question in a way, one is, where do I go with my life? Do I have angels or spirit guides? And the other one asks, how can I tune in with my intuition? Why do I not receive? When I teach the courses, there's a couple of things here that I'm going to say that will help you with that. First of all, we all have angels and spirit guides. When we left the fullness of the other side, if you want to call it that, the astral plane, the quantum field, we did so with an agreement that we would have a guide watching over us, and we get to have them guide us in whatever way we agreed to have them guide us. Some people, they're not going to have the communication, and some people it's going to be on full blast. And you can actually have that conversation, and it's very natural. It always starts out very subtle. And and the other thing is, when we say, where do I go with my life? You go right to right now. We start in the present moment, and that's where we connect. And when you say, how can I tune in with my intuition, and you feel stuck, We actually aren't. The only thing is that intuition and access to our guides comes from the part of us that we're programmed not to use, which is our heart. And one of the biggest assignments.
Hello.
But one of the first assignments that I give to help people connect with their guides is I ask you to go to your phone and I ask you to take like one of those notepads and just write love. And I want you just to keep track of everything that you love. If you get a call out of the blue from your mother who just says, I appreciate you, right? I love my mom. And if you remember, wow, I used to watercolor as a kid, write down, I love to watercolor. Start keeping track of everything that you love. And then when you start seeing things that you haven't done for a long time, like watercolor or art or something like that, go do them. In fact, make those a bigger priority than the things that have an intense place on your calendar. Because the language of intuition is the language of love. The language of miracles is the language of love. The quantum field is unconditional love. That's all it is. And so when you start tuning into love, it might not be spectacular at first. You're not going to have someone coming in with a flowing gown and saying, hey, I'm your angel, man. But what will happen is you'll start to get ideas, you'll hear synchronicities, and then it'll get bigger and bigger until you can actually hear them giving you specific guidance. But it starts off small and subtle. And the more we see something, the more it shows up. So if you're focused on all the things that cause you to become aware of love, it brings you into heart and mind cohesion. And from there, things will start to happen. You'll question it. Was that my angel? The answer is yes. So very often as well, when we're not getting guidance, it's also guidance not to do anything. So I always remind people as well that if we're tuning into our angels and spirit guides and that we're asking them, what should I do about this situation? And we don't hear from them. It's not because we've been disconnected from them. It's because there's nothing to do. So also keep that in mind, because no guidance is guidance, and it's guidance to be back in the moment and to do nothing. And that's just some of the places where the universe or the forces of love are moving around all the bigger pieces, and they're asking you to get out of its way and to let it do what it's doing. So there's a couple of tips that I hope you find helpful for both of you with angel questions.
There's something else I'd add to that, if that's okay, and that is that with people that I spend time with in relation to their spirit guides or intuition, it's really helpful if you know how you as a physical being actually tune into or experience those other realms, which is partly what Seth was saying, much of what Seth was saying, but the section of what he said about how you came in and what kind of relationships you were going to have with your guides and how that manifests into your life. And so if you know whether you, like if somebody says, can you see something, but you can't see anything, people often fail with that. So people tend to be with the invisible worlds. They might hear things, they might see things, they might feel things, and they may need to, so what have I said? See things. So people who are visual, when they talk about their guides or their spirit worlds, they'll get a Hollywood version. So they see the guides coming into the room and on the charger and the dragons coming in and they're doing all of that. And they may interpret that, or they may just see it and then be able to share that. People who hear it will hear sounds, and they may hear a voice speaking to them. Obviously, that's created problems in people's lives over the history, but they may hear voices. Then there's people who need their body senses it. So when they learn something, they need to do it before they understand how to do it. And in the same way with the other realms, they will sense something. They go into a room and they don't know what's happened, but they feel something's happened. And then there's people who smell things. So we can actually learn how to do all those things, but we tend to have been born with one predominant thing. And if people sense things, sometimes everyone else is getting, the seers are getting the Hollywood, and the others are getting these sounds coming in. And the sensor goes, oh, I just felt a tingling in my little finger. And the people who sense things can actually be very disappointed at the beginning because they're trying to do things that are not native to their way of being and doing. But it's about, in my experience as well, people who sense stuff, you can often pick up things that no one else picks up because the sensing is a different way of experiencing the world. So if you're not sure about your guidance or if they exist, you can speak to them and say, if you're there, can you show me a sign, please? And in that process, get them to show you a sign that you are going to understand or experience because of the way that you pick up energy patterns and energy sensing of things. And I'm always careful when I'm working with people to find out what their language is. So if I'm saying, can you see that? That can cause a balk in their understanding because they're trying to see something that actually they're only ever going to hear or feel.
Great. One thing I'd like to add real quick is I found when I started working with my guidance, the best way to feel them, to know them, and trust what you're getting are two things: meditation, going within, unplugging from the outside world, and journaling. Journaling your thoughts, clearing your channel. And I also teach courses on this. I think everyone here teaches, we teach, right? We teach what works for us. And those are the two things that help me the most with tuning in, because it's unplugging with the outside world. When you go into your meditative space, you could start out 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, just going in and letting your thoughts come and go. And, you don't have to be in that samadhi state or anything like that, but just because our guidance communicates with us intuitively, telepathically, and our minds normally are just so full. I don't think anyone here probably hasn't experienced our minds be racing all the time. I have so much going on in my mind. Our guidance is communicating through to us telepathically, also through our body. Notice what information you're getting in your body. They'll use your body too to communicate. But I always say I'd hate to be my guide trying to talk to me when I've got all that going on in my head. How can they're sifting through all that noise? So I'd hate to be my guide, but that's the best for me. And that's really the best way I've learned to communicate with your guidance, and trust that be able to trust that they're there. Yeah. And it leads to automatic writing as well if you journal.
I'll chime in.
Oh, good.
I'm going to chime in on that subject too, about tuning in, etc. And yes, we all teach, and I think we all kind of realize that everybody senses differently, and sometimes all the training you need is to identify how you receive all those intuitive senses and information. One thing that I have learned and know is helpful, not only the meditative practices and the journaling, whatever works for you, but it is committing some time to yourself, carving out a dedicated spot of time, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, once a day or once a week, but it's being consistent with that. And especially communicating with spirit, because the people in spirit are relying on us to show up for them. And so if you say to spirit, okay, yeah, I want to strengthen my connection, of course, and this can go with all of your guides and angels as well, spirit obviously, but you could say, okay, I want to strengthen my connection. And so I'm going to do this on Saturday at 3:00, and then you don't show up. However, the spirit people, everybody in spirit knows you said Saturday at 3:00, right? So I know that sounds a bit strange, but you have to put a little bit of consistency behind your effort to expand. And again, especially with spirit, and because people in spirit to me are people, those that have passed on, angels and other beings a little differently, but as far as referring to spirit, they are people. So I don't want to let them down. And I think if you can think in that way, strengthening your connection, they'll know you're willing. They'll know ahead before you know you're willing. They will know. So think about, you're going to spend some time connecting with friends. I know that might sound a little weird, but when you start to strengthen your connections with your guides or your angels or your loved ones in spirit, you will find a relationship does grow, a trust grows. And so carving out some time and kind of sticking to it and being a bit dedicated will really, really help you. And sometimes that's all you need. And you don't need to sort of be really hard on yourself about, am I going to see anything? Am I going to hear anything? Your intent will help your helpers get to work on you. So hope that helps.
Perfect.
I would like to, I would like to provide a slightly different perspective on all of this, and I'm speaking from experience here. So this, there's more than one way to do anything that we do, and I'll tell you what's worked. I've gone through. I have a meeting. I show up. I've had the deepest meditations. I know my guides are there. These meetings and these appointments pay off. So everything that's been said here, they pay off. If you actually want to put in the time, you want to put in the effort, you want to make that kind of a connection with guides and beings on the other side, you've got to make the commitment, and you do have to show up when you say you're going to, and keep it like a regular appointment that you would with another person or human being. You have to show up. For anybody else who wants to connect, but with not that dedication, because they're not working on being professional psychics, or they're not working on any writing a book, or they don't need that level of connection or dedication. For example, not everybody who's into sports wants to be a gold medal Olympian. Sometimes you just enjoy swimming, and that's why you're a swimmer, not because you want to win the gold medal. And so connecting with the other side, I want to offer this other perspective. Angels are generally beings who have a tremendous amount of dedication to helping mankind, and they're available for you, but you need to ask. And there's specialized skills with the angels too, and specialized knowledge, but you have to ask. Your guides are generally people you have known in multiple lifetimes and incarnations, who have more of a personal relationship with you. And so they know your life path and know you better than just angels generally do. So that would be the difference between the two, but they both come from a place of dedication and love, and they're there to help you. For most of us on this planet, what's going to happen is we won't, keep a standing appointment every night. We want a connection. We don't necessarily need to be in the highest communion with our guides and angels. And a connection is easy. When you're in that drifting off to sleep space in your bed, remind yourself that your guide is your friend, may have been your most loving parent you've had in any life, may have been the best teacher you've had in any life, and you have a strong, loving relationship with them. That's the only reason, as Sharon put it, they would take the time to listen through your garble in your head and still be around and be like, you ignore the hell out of me and don't listen to anything I say, but I'm here for you still through your entire life, because they have that loving connection to you. So, if you're looking for the communion and you want to get deep in them, keep the appointments. But if you want just a connection with them, spend that time reminding yourself in feeling and emotion that, my guide is my best friend. It's a combination of the best friend I will ever had, the best parent, the best uncle, the best aunt, all of those wonderful, nice feelings. And just sit with that. Over time, what will happen is you learn to feel those energies come to you from outside of you. And that's your guide, because now there's a resonance and you understand that it's a love-based connection. and you'll start to feel them. And so you can make that connection. And an easy hack, you have to ask them with an easy hack every night is saying, can you please remove any obstacles that may come up tomorrow for me and guide me? Whisper some thoughts in my ears. You don't have to yell at me. You don't have to show up and freak me out in my living room, but just guide me. Can you just gently guide me and be there for me? And this is a simple hack, life hack right there. Angels, the same thing. If you've got a big task, if you've got something specific you want to do, there are specialists out there. You can simply focus on that and put the requests out and say, angels, can you help me with this, please? Now, the other piece of this is paying attention and listening and just acknowledging the nudges and that they give you, because that helps build the relationship. That's when you're saying, oh yeah, I heard you, I noticed, okay, I feel the connection, and you start to build on that connection. So I just wanted to add that perspective. If you are looking for a strong connection, make an appointment, show up. Most people on the planet are looking for a connection, maybe not communion, strong communion, but connection. You can do so simply by reminding yourself that you have a loving relationship with these beings, and that's what you need to focus on.
All right. Yeah. A good way for them that they communicate with us is numbers. I find repeating numbers. Whenever I see those, I always thank them. Oh, hey, thank you. Thanks. Just a little hello. I love you sometimes. Thank you, everyone. Let's move to the next question. I hope that was helpful for those asking the question and everyone listening that may have the same question. All right, let's see. Herschel, any election predictions? More turbulent political events this year. So Herschel is in the U.S., so I'm assuming you are talking about the U.S.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't look at it as turbulent, because that's not the way to see the changes that are happening. So the one thing that I would add to that is that we see this as part of the upgrade and part of the dissolve of the old. It's a given that that apparatus is still fighting for survival. And so definitely we could be prepared for some stunts to occur in that realm. But we shouldn't actually see that, give it power, or see it as something that has power over us, and not something to prepare ourselves to be afraid of as well. I want to put that out there as well.
I get the impression that the Biden administration is going to have some wins this year, and that's going to bode well for them, and it's going to build confidence in the presidency. They say with the Democrats just have to make sure that they don't fall apart and they can win elections, but they fall apart anyways. But I want to point out that there's been a few times where elections have come up, and what's really helped is when the party unifies behind a candidate. So we had George Bush Jr., and then we had 9/11, and then George Bush Jr. didn't have any competition in the Republican Party. And aside from the politics and the world affairs, the Democratic Party had several candidates. And so there's a sense of confidence that gets instilled in people when they see that there's one singular candidate. And they don't have to choose, they don't have to pick, they don't have to be in this mental gymnastics and this emotional roller coaster that the TV ads and the debates are putting them through. And you're going to see more of that come out of the Democrats this year. Well, they'll have a more of a unified field behind their candidate, whereas with the Republicans, you've already seen how competitive they are. So George Bush Jr., case in point, he was the candidate of the party and he won a second term. Obama, case in point, unification behind his presidency, and he won a second term. And you're likely to see that with the Biden administration. And I say likely because we also want to keep in mind, as Seph has pointed out, we're shifting timelines. So you might be in a trajectory towards a certain outcome politically, and then after June, July, August, whatever the shifts are coming up at that point, you may shift and go into a different timeline. But generally, I'm getting that Biden's administration will have some wins. It's going to bode well for them, and you'll see more of a unified stance behind them, which is going to help build the confidence in giving them receiving votes. That's what I'm getting.
Okay. I what I've been seeing is a very different election, if there is one at all. That's what I've been seeing. Something very different as the system breaks down, as the old guard is being cleansed, I guess you could say. And so that's what I see. I think it's going to be very different. Yeah, something that not that we would not expect. I just keep getting it's going to be very different than the norm than what we've seen. Yeah.
Do you see a complete change of the government structure, or do you just see it's just going to be different, but we're still going to have this democracy where there is going to be a president, vice president elected?
I see it being, yeah, something like that, but it's different. I feel like what I've seen, I haven't seen complete details of it, but that it's not going to be the type of system that we've seen in our election process. Yeah, that's what I've seen.
I align with what Seph said, the others too, but I align with what Seph said, that how we feel about it, or how we, I guess, in a way, project onto it, is what we co-create. And if we're not watching the news, and we're not watching television, and we're not watching Hollywood movies, and or if we are, we're being really discerning about what we're watching, you start to see and feel and experience in the world these cycles of things that just keep going around and around, and the patterns that are placed somewhere, and that within the political movements, all of those things are part of those patterns, part of the way that we engage with them. And some people say it's about fear, some people say it's about control, some people say it's about power, and some people say it's about not caring about people in the world at all. It's an agenda of their own. And there's many other ways that it may be expressed. And throughout the world, what I've noticed over the last 20 years is that people have been groomed to be in particular positions that suit something that is going on in that cycle of continuing to perpetuate the same things. The question I have is, do you believe that we can have a world where we self-govern in a greater, stronger way? And that's what I believe we're gradually moving towards, is a
Yes.
self-governing. And
Yes,
in that self-governing,
totally.
we make our choices, we look after one another, we interconnect with one another, and we're not relying on a body of an organization or a body of people. So if you're wondering those questions, then my suggestion would be, ask yourself, do you believe that you can be self-governing? And if we're moving towards self-governing, how would you like that to look? And as a co-creator, create that in your belief systems, in your meditations, in your sending out into the world, so that we become that which we already were, but we have forgotten how to be, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Okay, we've got lots of questions here. Let's get to them if we can. We'll try to get to as many as we can. I think were we ending at 8? I can't remember I don't remember. Okay, we'll get through as many as we can. Okay, Alana, hopefully you're still here. All right, so she says, let me put it up here. Good evening. My mother passed 10 years ago. I am 35 now. I hope she comes through in some way here tonight. Okay. She's here with you. Yeah, she's here with you.
Yeah,
And when I get a sense of her? Yeah.
there's definitely a deep sense of longing and wanting to connect, and some sadness with the question, um, some strong emotions.
I felt a huge influx of love in my heart center from her as well. Yeah. And she's what I'm feeling from her, she does spend a lot of time with you, Alana. And she wants you to know that you do connect with her. Anytime you think about her, she's there. When she thinks about you, you she's there with you. That's that connection. That's what connects you, is when you think about each other and the love that's between you. So she really hasn't gone anywhere. She's still here with you and is aware of what's going on in your life. And I feel like she's talking about a grandchild. Um, she's very aware of that. Anyone else?
I have a little bit, Alana. What's coming through to me is I'm getting the impression, Mom says you have an image in your mind or a memory within your mind that comes up, and it's an upset image. So it's an image that either of her or yourself in a moment of upset regarding her passing, illness, her state, and she kind of wants you to erase that image, because it causes you pain when it resurfaces. Sometimes memories do that with us, but she really doesn't want you to be holding on to this image that is distressing to you or holds pain for you, because she doesn't want you to hold on to that pain. She'd like you to let it go and release it. And she is happy, and it would make her happy, as she expresses to me, to see you not kind of not have to have that painful image in your mind anymore. And she's not admonishing you. She completely understands that, but she really wants you to be free of distress. So that's what's come through from Mum for you, Alana.
I'm getting the same message again, Alana. You can nurture the emotion in you, and you can have a strong connection with your mother. But that emotion in you that you nurture has got to be the deep love, loving connection. And it doesn't need to be the pain or the loss. You can sit with deep emotions and still have a deep emotional connection with her. But that's through love. You can nurture that in your heart and have that strong connection with her.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let's go to the next question here. I hope that's helpful, Alana. From Lala. I think I'm very spiritually aware. However, would like to know how to become more in tune with my spiritual world. I guess like living with them 24/7 in full blast, like Seth just said.
Oh, God.
Seth, this is yours.
Don't ask for that.
Right?
No. Spiritually aware, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And that is the thing. It has to, everything that it is, it starts out subtly. And it'll always be there to serve. It doesn't necessarily serve us to have it on full blast all the time. And to whatever measure we have it is to whatever measure we need it. To thirst for greater connectivity to your higher self is great. And our guides are really there to guide us to our higher self, to our self awareness, to our self-discovery. And they're there to point us back to ourselves. And they're very helpful for that. And they're ways to speak to us. And in a certain way, you can also say that our guides are actually us in our perfected form, so that we exist as a perfected form and in this form at the same time. So we're being guided by an aspect of ourself. So I know it seems idyllic to actually be connected to the spiritual realm more often, and maybe like a little bit of a freedom from some of the density of this space. But one of the things that I would say is that the density of this space is a learning mechanism, and we're meant to actually learn from the difficulties, the challenges, and yes, all of the difficult things that we don't like are here to teach us. So the one thing that I would say is it starts off subtly, and if it's something that you desire, it will come in and calibrate you for more, but it will never fry you in one full blast. And I hope that helps.
Perfect. Okay. We have another question here from Sue. My mom passed earlier this month. I'm wondering if there is anything she didn't get to say before her transition.
I'm just going to jump in because I just got a bit of an image that made me smile. This in response to the question from Sue. It was a lovely image in my own imagery of a woman with a very large smile with a very big angel, but a traditional angel, like you see them in the as they depict them. But she has a very large smile on her face, and it was it's like she's saying, I found him, and she's really happy about it. So I don't know if that makes sense for you, Sue, but I just wanted to share it with you. She's very happy she found him.
Nice. I'm not getting there was anything she didn't say before her transition, or in spirit world, there isn't anything that's left undone normally. They just want us to. What I've found is they just want us to be happy and whole, and so I feel like she's in a really good place, and so I don't feel from her that there's anything that she needed to say before her transition. She does say she loves you. She's saying I love you. Yes. Ooh, and I feel that. Whew.
I think it's also interesting that when our loved ones die, we want to know how they're doing, and that makes absolute sense. And I would recommend to anyone and everyone, even if somebody doesn't believe in the afterlife, and there are many people who don't, there are more and more who do, but there are people who don't. Have a conversation with the people that you love and your friends, and find a way that if there is an afterlife, or if there is a way of communicating, that you work it out together. And it may be, I will show you a sign, and you go, well, let's be really specific what that sign may be. So it may be, I will tap you on the shoulder when I am around. You will feel a calm breeze when I am near you. White feathers will appear and you'll know it's me. Or there will be some specific sign. So arrange this before people die in your life, so that then you know when those people are close, and you know that continues on for you. And sometimes by doing that, we can tell if those people are around, and we can then start to develop that relationship in the same way with our guides and angels and other helpers. We can develop a relationship based on making communication, asking for what we want. So if you feel that, and you may not know till somebody's passed, that you're going to miss them and want to know how they are, but if you create something to use as a stepping stone, then you'll know. So if it's your mother who's going to pass, or your father, and even if they're not in a place where they can communicate it, do it before they're unwell. Do it like in some point of conversation so that you can have that continuous communication with them and trust it when it comes. That then goes to that knowing, do you trust it when it comes?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Sharon,
So,
ladies and
yes.
gentlemen, I have a commitment that I must attend. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave this party.
Okay.
Nice to
Thank you
meet
for
you.
being here. Yes. Mwah.
Thank you
Love
for
you.
having me. It's been wonderful. And thank you to everyone that's also watching along. It's been wonderful to be here. And sorry I have to cut out, but I do like to keep my appointments.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do it
So
again.
Happy New Year to everyone and take care. And hopefully I'll see you again.
This has
Happy
been
New Year.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No.
All right, crew, do you want to take a couple more questions or you need to go? Because we were I scheduled this for 2 hours.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me, so I'm ready
Ooh,
to go.
okay.
Yes.
All right. So
um,
everyone, thank you for being here. We will do this again sometime and in the near future. And you are always welcome to contact all of us too, individually. Go ahead, Seth.
no, I know someone asked about a few our websites and that sort of thing. So
Yeah, I
I
have.
saw someone question asked about that too. So they might
Please
want to
share
know
your
about.
information. I will have it in the details too.
Oh yeah, I'm at talktomyangels.com or on Instagram at talktomyangels.
Paulina, do you want to share your information?
Oh, sure. Sorry. I was listening. um, yes, my website is, well, it links in through my name, paulinaharfield.com or theearthwhisperer.com. And on there you'll find sections of work with different beings. You'll find articles you can read, products that you can look for, a range of things. And I also have some social media pages on Cosmic Conversations, and there will be a YouTube site set up at some point with that name. So yes, that's who I am. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Ashvin, can you two stick around for a couple minutes, maybe a little bit more to answer some questions? Or
Sure.
Yes.
what do you think? Okay, because we've got quite a few here. I hate to leave
Thank
people hanging.
thank you for inviting me.
Oh, of
Good night.
course,
Good night.
Seth. Good
Good
night.
night.
It's
Yes.
been wonderful, Seth. Thank you.
Nice to meet all of you, and thank you to the audience. Yes.
Yeah, nice to meet you,
Okay.
Seth.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Get
Thank
some
you.
sleep. All right. We'll go until 8:30. How's that? Are you okay with that?
Okay. Yeah.
8:30 our time? Okay. You okay with that, Ashvin?
Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a marathon. Okay. It's called speed reading. All right. When I was being trained, we did that a lot. Okay. All right. See, where are we? Sue. Okay. And
Can I
this is.
quickly throw out my website too before we get going?
I'm
Oh,
sorry. Yes,
sure.
of course, Ashvin.
It's cupoflighthealing.com.
Cupoflighthealing.com. Yes. And mine is SharonSananda.com. SharonSananda.com. Okay. And we'll have I will have all that in the details as well. Okay. So this is from Tiffany. Any guidance on my upcoming choices around work and living arrangements? All right. So we've got lots of questions, so we'll try to make these mini readings quick as possible for Tiffany.
I get, Tiffany, that you actually have a sense of what you need to do, and that your guides are supporting you in that. You're just not quite sure if it's the right thing to do. So I would think that trusting your choice and where you want to live. And if you're not quite sure that you know where you want to live or or what the job is, become clear. It's like create that space for the guides to help yourself, to help you, and for your own knowing to come forward. Um, Yeah, I get again that they're saying, I'm just going to pull a card though, because they're saying that you actually do know what you need to do, but you're not sure in your heart that you want to do it. So what I've then pulled is a card called opening, and being open to those new ideas and being blessed by all that you receive. So that's what I'm getting from that.
Okay.
I'm getting something. Sorry, Sharon, go ahead. You were going to say.
I was going to ask you if you were getting anything.
Something similar, just maybe framed a little different, which is that this is more about you creating. This is definitely about you creating, making choices, getting out of your comfort zone, facing your fears, and rather than passively seeing what path is laid out in front of you, making a decision which path you want to go down. That's the guidance behind to help you with your choices.
Yeah, I got something similar too, is that you are co-creating, and the more that you dive into your co-creator self, the more you will learn to trust your decisions. And my guys have always told me there's no right or wrong decisions, just some are more challenging than others. Okay, so it doesn't mean it's a wrong decision. I do feel that your choices are what you need at the moment, is what I'm feeling. Okay, and uh, and it's okay to trust that, and to trust where you're at, and that you're in a good place. And I got the card, the Seeker. So the dragons are saying, get ready to ride the dragon. And seek and you shall find. Yeah. I hope that's helpful. Okay, so next question. Sharon, I believe you talked about the anxiety being the need to release light. I've always seen my anxiety as an indicator that I'm doing something wrong. Can you elaborate? Um, yeah, our bodies, what I've learned, and I used to suffer with anxiety when I started after my NDE, and when I started working very diligently with my guides. I was in my room every night at 9 o'clock, like Ashvin and Leanda were talking about. I made that commitment, made that appointment with my guide to be there every night at 9 p.m. and release. I was releasing so many lifetimes, soul retrievals, things like that, things that were coming up from my past, my childhood, that needed to be released. And as I was releasing, I was taking on more light. And I had anxiety like crazy. I was having some panic attacks, but it was all part of what was going on with me, um, because it was a very intense quickening. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone, but I wouldn't change it for the world, for me. So that's what I've learned, is that as we're taking in light, our bodies need to be able to calibrate in some way to the light. So that's why our spiritual work is important, and to understand, or to be aware, that anxiety, for me, and it had to do with not understanding and not being grounded, not being able to calibrate it in a gentle way, I guess you could say, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Uh, you say you've always seen your anxiety as an indicator that you're doing something wrong. No, I've never felt that uh, that it meant I was doing something wrong. Just that I was releasing and bringing in more light than my body could calibrate at that time. Anyone else want to add to that or have anything they'd like, any insights on that?
We've got the biological piece of fight, flight, or freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And anxiety and freezing can be an indicator at times, but it's not always that. And the impression I keep getting, even as you were talking, Sharon, Jamila, the impression I kept getting is you have the capacity to get a handle on these emotions, not so much by wrangling them or wrestling them, but simply by being in them and letting them dissipate. A form of a meditation where you're with them and then they dissipate and you realize that the fog is cleared. That's the impression I get.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I could articulate a little better, but the impression I get is, yeah, that there's some calmness. This time will go away. It's not that something is wrong. This is a heightening of energies and emotions that can be managed.
Right. Yeah. And the anxiety with me was not understanding what was happening or what needed to be released or how my body was reacting. And that's where the anxiety came up with me. It's not knowing what's happening. Okay. And yeah, and my guide Yeshua always taught me to, just like you said, Ashvin, to sit with it as much as possible. Sit with it. And everything will be okay. You're okay right now. Everything, and I would get them in it really, really bad at night. I couldn't even sleep with the light on. I mean off. So yeah, I used to think anxiety wasn't a big deal until I started having it. So I needed to experience it in order to be able to empathize with people who have it, and also get work through my shadows, because that's what's happening. We're working through our shadows. Okay. I hope that's helpful in some way. Okay. Is there a group that meets once a month to practice intuitive reading? I don't know. I do have a mediumship group that is that we are going to start meeting again. We took a hiatus for mediumship for people who take my courses. So other than that, I don't know. What about you two peeps?
Oh no, I take that as a suggestion from Lauren to you.
Oh yeah, to us.
To
Okay.
you. So great suggestion, Lauren. I hope Sharon does it. I hope she puts
Yeah.
together a group that meets once a month to practice intuitive readings. Good call.
All right, Lauren. Okay. Hung says, thank you so much. Okay, let's see here. You're welcome. Okay. Okay, we made it. We did it.
Yay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, here's one. What is this? Heather, I've been confused meanwhile trying to stay in faith. Good for you. Okay. Okay. What is this? When you go to bed, ask for your guys to come in and try to communicate with you. Okay. Yeah. And someone in New Zealand, who is it? Jenny in New Zealand, 444 here. Oh, nice. Thank you, New Zealand, too. Okay. Oh, here's one. And Gwen's Lauren, Supernatural Soul Sisters. Oh, cool. I know Anne, I think. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Lauren. Or Lala. Okay. You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, here's a question. I thought I was at the end, but we're not. All right. I'd love a general reading from the panel for 2024. I've been connecting with ancestors while completing 500 years of a why, a lot about history, sketching with pastels, and may write a book. Okay. Well, good for you. Keep up the good work is what I'm hearing. Continue what you're doing. Anybody else?
Just a similar thing. Well done. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. That's
And
what.
follow your instincts and your intuition, and see what 2024 holds for you within those things you've been doing and sketching with pastels, and you may write a book. So they're saying that you're on the journey, and what you choose to do is, like you said, and may write a book. So that's the one, I guess, that I'm kind of being focusing on, is like, you may write a book or you may not. Will you write a book or won't you? That comes down to what you decide to do, because it's basically you're on a pathway of decisions and doing things that you're on your journey. So well done. That's kind of what I just keep getting. It doesn't really matter what you do, but if you will write a book, you will.
I'm getting a mix of messages. I don't know how this applies. I'm just going to throw it out there. If it sticks and it's relevant, take it. I'm getting the love and compassion should be the basis of the work you do. And I'm getting some information about understanding human interaction. When people bond, say for two people, whether it be friendship or partnership of any kind, it's a bond. But in confrontation, also there's a bond. Either way you put it, you're bonding with somebody. Whether it's confrontation or a loving bond, at the end of it, there's a contribution to each other's lives. So I don't know if this fits into anything you're doing in your life or this book or the work that you're doing, but this is the work you do. And the other message is about connections. Confrontation is a bond. A loving bond is also a bond, but so is confrontation. And eventually you make a contribution to each other's lives.
Okay. I think that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks for being
you.
here.
Thanks for having
This is fun.
me here.
Yeah. And Paulina, we'll have to do this again before 2025.
Yeah, sure. I'm always open to anything that's happening. So thank you very much for including me. I always appreciate it. And
Sure.
nice to meet you, Ashwin. And thank you
Nice
for
to
your
meet you.
insights.
Same here.
I have to. Are we still on? Because I have to send you the information that
We're
you've
saying
asked
goodbye.
for.
We're saying goodbye. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here and have a great
Great.
2024. And I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.